All right, good afternoon. It is March 21st, 2022. And today, really, we're just looking at a range day. There was an FOMC announcement in here. I made that small range red. And I think what happened here is we made one measured leg down, and that would bring that to like here. And maybe two measured legs down, but I'm not too sure. I also measured from the midline of the range to here. And then I dropped that down, and we failed to come to make that measured move. So it looks like a range day to me. So let's take a look. Not sure why I made this yellow. Usually I don't. Usually I make those blue. So if you were watching this chart early this morning, some good moves in here. Not sure. This looks like a. This looks like a first entry. So I don't know if you would have gotten trapped here if it broke higher than lower. I'm not too sure. But if you didn't go long on that one, I think you could probably go long on this one. You're better off holding off anyway, because that. Okay, yeah, that makes complete sense, and that's perfect price action. We had a break, but we didn't make a new low here. This looks like one move down, man. So when we make this new low, that looks like a really nice trap. And if you see all that in real time, I think that would give you the confidence to go long here. And then this looks like the second entry, even though we broke higher right here. This looks like the second entry, but it's just a doji. And then you get a failure right here. And these are all off the trend line. So, I mean, I think those are good entries. This one just looks congested. That's why I marked it green. Then we come up here, and you get a first entry, failed second entry long. I like that because it's very bearish. If you were drawing your trend channel, you probably would have had it off of the trend channel anyway. So if you draw off the first two closes, you'd have it like this. If you draw off this swing, you probably wouldn't have it. So that's not right. But if you have it drawn off this high, that looks like it works too. So it looks pretty good to me. And if you look at this as a double top, you get a... Wait, is that break higher? Yeah, I think this is the same high. You could look at this as a first failed second entry. That's tempting too. I didn't mark that one, but that's tempting. This is just the first entry, I think. So you get an overshoot, leads to a break. And then we make a few legs down to a new low. I don't like any of this. Too congested. Yeah, so, but when we come down here, then you're starting to think, okay, well, we're probably going to test these lows. So this looks like a second entry short to me, even though technically it's a third entry. So I do like this entry. Room to these lows. I think you got to take that. It looks like a double test. Yeah, I like that. Second entry here doesn't set up. But then, it's not making the lows, and it's just congested, and the trend down is weak, and we've already made a new low. So at that point, you need a good setup, and none of this is a good setup. So it starts rocketing on up. You get a first entry. Failure probably came in here or here, probably right here. And that's off the trend channel, but that's just too far away. So, I mean, I'm not going to take that, but that is a failure right there. Too far from the EMA. Here you get a first entry, second entry long. Again, this is a tough call, but that does look like a break and a new low. So perfect price action again. And that's a repeat pattern of what we saw earlier. So if you don't like that, I forget why. I think I didn't have the guts to take that for the reason of it looking like one leg down. But if I drew my trend line and saw that it made a new low, and I saw that that was a repeat pattern, I'd like that a whole lot better. I could have just been away from my computer though. I was like, okay, wait for something that looks like a second entry. So this looks like the second entry, but I didn't want to take this because you're going into these highs. So then when you get this failure off the short-term trend channel, I like that. Room to the highs. I took that one. And then we're just in the FOMC area for an hour leading up to it. And then right around here, boom, sell off. It's too chaotic in here. Bars are too big. 22 ticks. It's actually not too big, but it's too far from the EMA anyway. And right here, you get probably a hidden failure. First entry failed, second entry. But you're still trying to get a feel for what's happening. We did bounce right there, so you might feel like aggressive to the long side. I didn't take this. This is congested, but there is reason to like this. It is a second entry short, but it's also we got a break and a move to a new high. But I didn't like it. It was going into the EMA. It's clearly a range. But that brings us below the overnight lows, and we break this channel and make a couple legs down to a new low, and they probably trapped a bunch of people thinking that we were going to sell off, and you make this double bottom here. First entry failed, second entry. If I was watching that live, that's aggressive, but you might take that because they trapped a lot of shorts down here, and it looks like a spike in channel to me. You get a second entry long right here, but I don't see how you would have known that was a trend channel. You got a higher low right here, but that's looking congestive. But then this kind of looks like a double test, but it's really just testing it once. I like this. It's also a failed second entry short. Not the greatest setup for a failure. I don't know why. I think I got to keep that green, because that looks like a little range there. And then this looks like a setup here, but you see we have this channel working up. So really it looks like a trap to me. It looks like we're testing these lows again. So when we get I think this is technically, this is second entry long right here. Extremely bullish off of this trend channel. This is like a quadruple test. I think that's good enough for a scalp. Room to these highs. It was just tough though because the overnight lows looked like they were prices were finding some resistance there. So we make a nice leg up, form this range here, and this is like a double test right here, the nice bullish bar. And then here, I actually had a limit order on here, and I hit my target, but I think I was nervous because this looks, I looked at this as a level of support, but really this looks like a range to me, like this. And so when we go out the long side and we're in a range day within the overnight highs and lows, you got to be careful because a lot of times, even though this went out the long side, it's going to fail to the low side because it's like someone walking a tightrope. If you go too far to the left, you're going to have to regain your balance by shifting a lot of your weight and to the right. And this is no different. And that's what happened here. So we went a little bit too far up, and then it just shot down. And they probably trapped a ton of shorts in here. And I just like this. It's a double bottom, super bullish signal bar, opened on its low, closed on its high. Far from the EMA, bouncing at a level of support. So if you're feeling aggressive, you might take that. But that's definitely aggressive. First entry, there's like a hidden failure here, but I just don't think you can be taking that. Hidden failures definitely too advanced for me. We get a break, 2 legs up to a new high. I looked at this as a failure, I guess. Maybe a double bottom down here. First entry, failed second entry. Yeah, this does look like a 1-leg pullback, 2-leg pullback. So you might take that, especially this takes lower. Boom, rockets up. Here we get a first entry, failed second entry long. I like the way that's set up. Finding resistance up there again. And prices are just chopping back and forth on both sides of the EMA. So this confirms our channel. But I don't think you can go long in this. If you had a good setup, maybe so, though. So that's what I saw for today. I hope everyone had a fantastic day. God bless. I will be back tomorrow.